What if rejection wasn't a wound, but a key? A key to a place you've been afraid to go. A place that holds the version of you that never needed to prove her worth. What if the fear you've been carrying isn't here to shrink you, but to usher in a belonging no one can take away? Tonight, the maiden, mother, and crone are ready to open that door. But the question is, will you step through? Welcome to Maiden Mother Crone Tarot. My name is Kayla, and I'm so thankful you're here. Today is day 13 of the O3Go3 series, where I show up for 30 days, bringing tarot messages for women with ADHD, messages of hope, messages of clarity, messages of divine remembrance. Before we begin, I would like to go ahead and do a breathing exercise so that we can ground into the space, settle into our bodies, melt into the presence of now. We're going to breathe in for 6, hold for 2, and breathe out for 8. We'll do this 3 times. Are you ready? Let's begin. Nicely done. Take a minute to scan your body, head to toe. Check all your muscles. Are they tight? Are they tense? Shake them out, move them out, and continue to melt into the now, to soften, to receive messages from the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Tonight's tarot topic is healing the fear of rejection. RSD is really common with women with ADHD. It's rejection sensitive dysphoria. So tonight we're going to ask for guidance. Guidance on how we can heal this fear, integrate it into our lives, hold its hand and acknowledge it, but no longer let it lead us down the path. To walk hand in hand with it and understand that we are sovereign and in control. We're going to start tonight with one oracle card. I felt led to draw the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. So we're going to pull a message from that first. And while I'm shuffling, there is something about diagonals. When I was designing my thumbnail for this live stream, and when I was doing my pre-shuffling, the decks actually fell over and they were at an angle, a diagonal. So I don't know if anybody's doing any sacred geometry or if that's a sign for someone, but I definitely, once the boxes fell over, it just wouldn't leave my mind that I needed to say something about it. So I know that's a bit random, but I got to put it out there. All right, Spirit, can you give us guidance today, please, on healing the fear of rejection? Fox Spirit, think on your feet. And I felt the bottom of the deck as well. Parrot Spirit, watch your words. So we got Fox Spirit, which is number 27. And then Parrot Spirit, watch your words. In my practice, I work with 3 archetypes, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Each archetype has a dedicated deck to channel that energy. And the first deck we're working with tonight is the maiden. Maiden, can you please give us guidance tonight? Tarot guidance on healing the sphere of rejection. How can we integrate this RSD into our lives, into this collective of ADHD women? Please, Maiden. Tarot guidance, please, Maiden. Okay. So the first card she gave us was the Empress. The second card is the Ten of Wands. And then the third card is the Justice card. And then on the bottom of the deck, she gave us the Four of Cups. The next spiritual archetype we're going to work with is the Mother. Mother, can you please give us guidance tonight on healing the fear of rejection? How can this collective of ADHD women... I'm sorry, guys, I'm laughing because my leg is bumping. And I was like, I hope I'm not bouncing in the video. But ADHD. All right, sorry for that distraction. Mother, tarot guidance, please, on healing the fear of rejection, on integrating RSD, support for this ADHD collective, please. She's really wanting to come through. Okay. First card that she gave us is the Five of Cups, followed by the Eight of Swords. I feel like this should be our channel card. It comes out every time we do a reading, practically. And the last card she gave us was the Seven of Swords. And on the bottom of the deck is the Page of Pentacles. Okay. The last spiritual archetype we're going to work with tonight is the Crone. Crone, can you please give us guidance tonight? How can we heal this fear of rejection? How can we integrate the shadow of RSD? How can we come and join it by the hand? Integrate it into our lives so that fear no longer rules us, but that we are able to be sovereign beings, knowing our worth. Tarot guidance, please, Crone. And again, just like last night, she's given us 5 cards where the other 2 gave us 3. The Ten of Cups is the first card, and this happened last night, so I will link that for you. Wow. Then she gave us the Three of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Seven of Wands, with the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck. She gave us this a couple days ago. It makes sense because I've been trying to do themes for every week of the series, and this week has been RSD, so it kind of makes sense why some of the same cards are coming out, but that blows me away that she gave us the Ten of Cups yesterday, and that's the first card that we got yesterday and today. Wow. Okay. So just starting with our oracle cards today. The Fox Spirit and the Parrot Spirit, watch your words. I feel like You've definitely been put in situations where what you've said, you've had to watch your words. You've had to think on your feet. You've had to be very resilient and what's the other word? Excuse me. Adaptable, I think is the word I'm going for. You've had to almost be a chameleon, or that's what you felt. You felt you've had to be a chameleon to be accepted, to be included in the group, to be able to be palatable, digestible, understood in a group. But with the maiden's first card of the Empress, the message coming through is, and I'm taking from my own personal life here. I had some personal readings done, and the Empress came through, and the fear of being seen was something that came up for me in my reading. The Empress does not hide, was what my tarot reader told me. She doesn't hide, right? So the maiden is telling us you no longer need to act like you have to think on your feet or watch your words. The maiden doesn't hide any aspect of herself. She doesn't hide who she is or the trauma she's been through. Now, it's not like she's going to go around broadcasting it either, but she's not ashamed of who she is. She knows she has the foundations of who she is. She is the culmination of all of the queens. The Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups. She has the sovereign power over her emotions, over her worldly goods, her willpower, her sense of self-worth. The maiden is inviting you to step into the authority and authenticity of your true self, to embody the Empress. Step into the Venetian energy of the Empress with love, loving yourself, loving who you are, loving your story. Even if your story has been really difficult, even if your story has been so challenging that you struggle to talk about it, love that part of your life, love that story, because it is what has shaped you, what has molded you, what has been this 10 of Wands, the weight that you've carried throughout your life, the story that you have walked through has given you wisdom that you wouldn't have gotten any other way. These life experiences, while challenging and difficult, while pushing us to the max, without them, the growth potential would not be as exponential. There's no way you could go from one point in your life to another without being pushed through that fire, without being pushed through that challenge, right? Really compressing who you were and your ability and your willpower and your worth, understanding your worth. If you hadn't gone through that, you wouldn't be able to sit solidly in the foundation of knowing what you have been through, what you have carried, and no one else has seen. No one else knows the depth, the weight. And then the maiden gave us the Justice card. This is all about fairness, balance. I'm getting the idea that fairness and justice and balance is kind of a big theme in your life. And you advocate for others. You advocate for doing the right thing, for standing up for others. But you haven't done it for yourself. You haven't embodied the justice card for yourself and stood up for yourself. The maiden is inviting you to do that now, right? To heal this fear of rejection, you have to embody the Empress. You have to own the 10 of Wands that you have been through. Own that story. not be ashamed of it, but also don't judge it, right? We're learning from it so that we can understand that we deserve the same as everyone else. We deserve the same balance as everyone else, balance that we give to others. We can't be apathetic with the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck. We can't be disinterested in standing up for ourselves. It has to be a priority to be able to heal the fear of rejection. Because once you stand up for yourself, once you embody this Empress energy, you understand there is always going to be someone else that is probably, even another Empress from a different empire. And maybe you both have really strong energies. And there's just the potential that you're not going to get along. You're not going to like each other. But when you're in the Empress energy, that's okay. Because you have respect, mutual respect for yourself and for others. You become the observer. Look, in this card, she is so observant, right? She's watching everything that's happening around her, not in judgment, but in presence. So, how can we embody that? In understanding interactions with other people are not a determination of our own worth. That's not what those are. They're just interactions. They're just experiences. They're just present moments. Another present moment, another present moment, another present moment. How can we tap into that and really balance showing up for ourselves the same way we have shown up for everyone else? Understanding that if it was your friend, you would be sticking up for them and you would tell them, hey, no, it's not that they don't like you, it's XYZ, it's this. Or if they don't like you, it's okay, I love you. So why can't we embody that energy for ourselves? Why can't we say, if someone doesn't like us, you know what, that's okay, because I love myself and I'm the one I have to live with for the rest of my life, right? The mother gave us the Five of Cups. So this is about grief, regret, heartache. And maybe when you're healing this fear of rejection, you have a little bit of grief or sadness over the fact that you spent so many years not sticking up for yourself. You spent so many years trapped in that cycle, in that loop, where you did not embody the Empress, where you did not have that fairness, balance, justice for yourself. And you're understanding through this healing process that it was just a mental limitation, a self-sabotage that you placed on yourself with the Eight of Swords. And then the last card the mother gave us is this Seven of Swords. I kind of read the Seven of Swords as strategy normally. And so in this situation, the mother is saying, when you're going through this healing work, the fear of rejection, one, it just reminds me of she's holding all the swords. So you took all of the swords out of the Eight of Swords. You took all these swords away, right? You're no longer limited by them. So you're holding the swords. You have always had the power. This fear of rejection is always something that you have been in control of. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that you're at fault. I'm not pointing blame. I'm just simply stating the truth. We are all the creators of our reality. We all have the ability to completely change the landscape of our lives, of our mental and physical and spiritual landscapes, just by taking over the power of this. Power of this. When we step into consciousness, when we embody that divine witness and understand that someone rejecting us is not a reflection of our worth, then we are really taking these swords back, stepping out of this self-imprisonment, and we're being strategic in the way that we approach our life and our thoughts, being the gatekeeper of our thoughts. I've talked about this a few times. You can do just commit to one day where you are going to record all of your thoughts. Obviously, when you and take a tally at the end of the day. How many times did you have the same thought? Oh, they don't like me. Oh, they're mad at me. Oh, what did I do? I did something wrong. Fear of rejection, right? You're afraid of being rejected, and if you're rejected, it's obviously your fault. Something you did. No, 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 no. You know that's not true. And if you don't, you need to. You need to understand that's not true. Okay? With the Page of Pentacles as the underlying energy here, the Mother is encouraging us to really be a student of Earth, be a student of our own physical body, right? Our own physical body. I've talked about this a few times in the series. Our bodies tell us what's going on before we ever figure it out up here, right? Our emotions are just indicators of the subconscious patterns that are going on up here. So, with the Page of Pentacles, how can you be a student of your body? How can you be a student of how you're feeling? You know, I do breath work at the beginning of every one of these series live streams because one, live streams make me nervous. So it helps me ground. I do it before I begin, but even after I push the live, it really helps me ground back in to slow down, right? So I'm not just blurting anything out super fast. But it also helps me scan my body. You know, I can feel the tenseness, the tightness in my neck. That's where I store a lot of mine is right here in my neck, and some of it in like along my spine. How can we tap into our bodies? Because it's teaching us so many lessons if we will just listen, if we will just slow down and pay attention. So be the student of your body. Ask yourself when you have these fears, when you are interacting with somebody and you feel yourself physically shrinking, fading into the corner, slouching into the chair, pulling away from the conversation, shrinking, shutting down. Catch that. Be that witness that I was talking about. Be the observer. Catch yourself as the student and say, no, I am going to sit in my Empress energy, in the fullness of who I am. I am going to embody self-love, self-worth, and understand if someone rejects me, it's not because of me. It's because of something that they saw that was triggered within themselves. And again, this is not, a handout to just go be terrible to people. That is not what I stand for in this channel. And hopefully you understand that if I'm talking about this deep healing work where you're working on your own mental patterns. But with women with ADHD, we're not the ones being terrible. We are showing up for everybody else. We're being terrible to ourselves. We've got to stop that. Cut it out. And then again with the crone. This Ten of Cups is the first card. She's encouraging us, instead of seeing the fear of rejection, have this anticipation of joy. Have this anticipation of connection, right? Go into a situation and change that perspective. Change that anticipation. When you're going in, say, man, I'm going to meet 5 new acquaintances tonight. I'm going to have one lasting friendship bloom out of this social gathering, right? Instead of saying, oh, I'm not going to meet anybody. I'm not going to get along with anybody. I'm not going to know anybody. I'm not going to have any fun because I don't know who to talk to. Instead of having the perspective, really having this Ten of Cups, this ultimate generational fulfillment where you're showing an example to your friends, your sisters, your daughters, your mothers, right? There's so much generational ADHD. Mothers, like my generation getting diagnosed and then realizing our mothers had ADHD, which mine doesn't, but realizing mothers had ADHD and they didn't even know it either. And they're, 20 years older having a later diagnosis. So, really, with this Three of Swords, this heartbreak, this betrayal, a lot of our limiting beliefs and self-sabotage comes from life experiences. It comes from a time where someone did humiliate us, someone did completely dismiss us, someone did reject us fiercely, devastatingly. I'm not diminishing the foundation, the ache, where this initial wound started, right? We all have stories of rejection. But you have the Ace of Pentacles here. This is a gift from Spirit, a seed, an opportunity to plant this new pattern of thinking in your life so that your soul can expand and experience the life, this Ten of Cups life that it longs for, that it chose to experience. And it's ready for you to get on board. Use this opportunity while you're growing. There can be a lot of conflict. Five of Swords. There can be a lot of Seven of Wands conflict with those people in your inner circle when you decide to change who you are and stop showing up as that previous version of yourself. Friends and family, co-workers, bosses, you could have some pushback. There could be some dissatisfied people who feel like they didn't win, right? Because you're changing. And what's happening there is when you change, when you elevate, you no longer are on the same frequency as these people. You don't behave the same way. You don't talk the same way. You don't do the same things that you used to do. And that's what they're comfortable with. That's what they expect. That's who they've grown to love, right? Is that version of you. So when you start stepping into this pattern, the crone is advising you here, while this is this opportunity, the seed for this new happy life, don't think it's going to be a bed of roses. You are going to have challenges. You are going to have conflicts with others. And you have to, with the Seven of Wands, stand your ground. Do not back down. I don't want to say anticipate that the closest people to you are going to be the ones to hurt you, because we're talking about not fearing rejection. But oftentimes that's the case, right? So if the rejection does come, whenever you are becoming this new person, you may have someone that's close to you say, I really don't like who you are anymore. You're not the person I knew. When that comment comes, be prepared with the Seven of Wands to say, I'm so sorry you feel that way, but I'm fully in love with this version of me. And if you don't feel the same way, maybe we shouldn't hang out anymore. Or you could say, maybe we just need to hang out less. Or maybe we need to hang out in a larger group of people. Right? You can still see people. You don't have to cut everybody out of your life. But if people have a problem with this new you, with this person who is empowered, who is not going to be walked all over, who's not going to be trampled all over because they're afraid they won't be invited anymore, stand your ground. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy just because you are. Not because you do things for people, not because you bend over backwards, not because you always say yes. That's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother can of worms. That's a whole nother sacred boundaries conversation, right? But understand, when you are in this Empress energy, others will either rise with you or they will try to pull you down. Okay? And that's why the King of Wands was on the bottom, the underlying energy of this deck. The King of Wands is magnetic. is charismatic. Nobody is bringing him down, right? I'm just given the image of a hot air balloon soaring higher and higher and higher into the sky. Really tap into that energy. You're going to tap into the Divine Empress energy, knowing your worth, being grounded in your value. And then you're going to step into this King of Wands energy. When you're going through this life change, when you are going to break these patterns, right? You're going to step into his energy and you're going to understand that even if the people fall away from you, the people that resonate, the people that are on the same frequency as you are going to show up in your life. They're going to appear when you need them in divine timing. And you're going to understand that when these things fall away, when these things happen, it's not happening to you. It's not the universe punishing you. It's not God punishing you. It's things happening for you. It's the universe changing your whole life around so that it can reflect this new Ten of Cups, where you are no longer fearing rejection, but anticipating connection, anticipating celebration, right? You're going to go from this having to think on your feet with the fox spirit, having to watch your words with the parrot spirit, to defend, to standing up and saying no. And there was a card I got the other day in the spirit, I think it's the Spirit Junkie Oracle, that said, I am completely defenseless. I think that was the way it was worded. But the meaning of it was, I no longer have to prove a point. When you're in the Seven of Wands, you don't have to justify, right? This is just saying, don't back down from who you are becoming. Don't stop doing this sacred work of remembering your worth, of reclaiming your value, of saying, you know what? Rejection isn't a reflection of my worth. Rejection is just divine redirection, right? So you don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to argue with people. Just embody who you are. And if someone has a problem with it, say, I'm sorry. Or don't even say, I'm sorry. Don't apologize for who you're being. Say, well, obviously we don't resonate. And I love you. And I hope at some point we will again. This is some life-changing work here, friends. This is some Ten of Wands work. This is some heavy work. Okay? So really remember, when you're in this divine empress, when you're understanding your worth, you also need to take care of yourself. Schedule in some self-care days, right? Whether that's spending some time alone, if you do have somebody that maybe is walking this journey with you, scheduling some time with them so you guys can get together and talk, chat. If you have a therapist, talk to them. If you have family members that support you, you can talk to them. If you have the opportunity, don't do this alone, because it is so challenging. We don't change these cycles overnight. They take time. And we can get to where we lose faith. We lose faith in our ability because of this heartbreak. So if you need support, don't be afraid to reach out to others. And if you don't have anybody, reach out in the comments below. Let us know what you're going through. I read every comment. Our community here is just to support you in understanding that you are so worthy just as you are. And no amount of rejection will ever change that. It will never determine your worth. It will never determine whether you deserve something or not. Understand, you are divine. You are an eternal being. You're an expansive soul. And someone not seeing that is not a reflection of you, right? Tap into the expansiveness of the universe. Tap into the expansiveness of consciousness. It goes beyond. It's one of my favorite words right now. It goes beyond. It's limitless. It goes beyond. We can't comprehend it. That's how much our worth is, because we just are. Sending love and light to anyone that is open to receive it. Thank you, Maiden Mother and Crone, for giving us the key tonight. This message was the key to unlock the door so that we can become this version who belongs because we are always at home within ourselves, who is not afraid of rejection because rejection is just redirection. And we know we're going exactly where we are and we're never off path. There's always a lesson. We're always where we're meant to be. Thank you, my dear, dear friend, for joining me. Because when you join me, you're showing up for yourself. You're saying yes to yourself. You're choosing you. And the best way to get over the fear of rejection is to put yourself first, to understand that you are worthy. This has been day 13 of the 0303 series. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video. It helps the algorithm push it out to more women with ADHD who need to hear the same things. Please let me know in the comments what resonated the most with you. And if you're not sure what to say, just comment from fear of rejection to anticipation of connection. All right. Can't wait to see where Spirit takes us the rest of the series. And I want to remind you, on this channel, always come as you are and stay as you become. Bye, my friends.